How different is Deadpool from comics to screen?
I don't know yet.
Deadpool has appeared in around 1,000 Marvel comics, so there's a significant amount of lore surrounding this character. In the movies, we've seen the character in X-Men Origins Wolverine, Deadpool, Deadpool 2, and now Deadpool and Wolverine. So let's find out how different the character is in the comics to his appearances in those films. Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, made his first comic appearance in issue 98 of New Mutants, released in 1990. The issue, written by Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza, sees Deadpool hired by Mr. Tolliver to kill Cable, seeing the time-traveling mutant as a threat to his plans and interests. Deadpool attacks the New Mutants' headquarters and a battle occurs between he, Cable, Cannonball, Boom Boom, Richter, and Sunspot. But Copycat, who's impersonating Domino, is the one who takes Paul down and ties him up before they send him back to Mr. Tolliver. Not only was this comic the first appearance of Deadpool, but also Vanessa Calliso, aka Copycat's first appearance too, albeit impersonating Domino. It's revealed in the movie that Wade has a rough childhood. In the comics, his origin is complicated, and like most characters, is always changing. In Deadpool Volume 3, Issue 36, it's revealed that Wade never met his dad and lived alone with his mum, who was abusive towards him. This led to Wade being a troubled kid who bullied others. This is something that's more or less reiterated in X-Men Origins Deadpool. In a later issue, Wade tells Cable that his mum died when he was 5, leading to his dad hitting a rough patch after that, becoming abusive. Wade joined the Special Forces under the command of his army officer father, where there was a fight in a bar before Wade's friend shot and killed his dad. In Wolverine Origins number 24, what Deadpool told Cable more or less aligns with this origin. But in a 2014 comic, it's revealed that Wade's parents are still alive, living together in Canada. Upon visiting the home, Wade burned it down, killing the parents inside. Regardless of what's true, it seems like there was some kind of abusive relationship there with at least one of his parents, leading to Wade's destructive ways. It's mentioned that Wade was dishonorably discharged from the Canadian Special Forces in the movies, but in the comics, Wade was a part of the US Special Forces before both versions became freelance mercenaries. Wade was later diagnosed with terminal cancer and was offered an opportunity to be a test patient of Department K, a revised version of the Weapon X program that saw Wolverine get his adamantium bonding. It was a part of this program that Wade was experimented on by Dr. Killebrew and Ajax, whose real name is Francis but hates being called that, like in the movie. The experiment itself was trying to replicate the healing factor of Wolverine. The experimentation worked, healing all of Wade's cancer, but was unable to heal his skin that had worsened over the period. During the process, Francis tortured Wade, so he sought revenge and hunted him down before taking his life. Or so he thought. The comic origin is not unsimilar to what was portrayed in the Deadpool movie. The main difference is that the serum that gave Wade his healing factor was designed to awaken latent mutant genes in his body. In X-Men Origins Wolverine, Wade Wilson is the experiment known as Weapon 11, created by William Stryker, giving Wade a pool of powers from multiple mutants to become a mutant killer. In both the movies and comics, Wade has the powers of regeneration, enhanced strength, agility, reflexes, durability, speed, and stamina. He's also highly skilled in martial arts and using firearms and swords. But if we were to talk about the X-Men Origins Wolverine version, he also has optic blasts, implanted blades, phase jumping, technopathy, and survivability, meaning he doesn't need to eat or drink to survive. Not that he could anyway, as his mouth is sewn up. Speaking of not speaking, Deadpool has one of the most notable voices in the Marvel comics and movies. Fourth wall breaking is an iconic feature affiliated with Deadpool, but this wasn't something he was doing from the beginning in the comics. It wasn't until 7 years after his creation, in Deadpool number 11, when he was teleported to a Spider-Man comic from the 60s where he first broke the fourth wall. Then in Deadpool 28, it started to become more common. She-Hulk was actually the first major Marvel character to be a consistent fourth wall breaker, first starting in 1989. Along with the fourth wall breaking, the R-rated humor and violence, plus the pop culture references, is something that carries over in both the comics and the movies. Deadpool is referred to as an anti-hero, as he's a mercenary often hired by bad people to kill worse people. But he's also known to team up with other heroes and carry out personal vendettas. You may have noticed in the movies Deadpool's obsession with chimichangas.
Time to make the chimichangas.
Well, he doesn't actually like the Mexican cuisine. He just likes saying the word. Wade does, however, love unicorns. Like, a lot. As you can see, the most common version of Wade Wilson in Deadpool has a very similar personality between the comic and movies. But like all characters, we see them evolve and change a lot over the years. During the Secret Empire, Deadpool joined the Avengers Unity division and was later commanded by a Hydra version of Steve Rogers to kill Phil Coulson. While not initially knowing this was an evil version of Steve, Wade completed the task and continued to follow his fascist orders even after it was revealed that Rogers was Hydra. This led to many of those who cared about Deadpool losing the little respect they had for him, which eventually started his journey back to an anti-hero, rather than a villain.
4 or 5 moments, that's all it takes.
Now, what's Deadpool's connection to other characters? Wade has been in many romantic relationships, and even married to characters like Shikla and Raven. Like in the movie, Wade and Vanessa, who in the comics has the mutant abilities to shapeshift into anyone, dated until they broke up due to his terminal cancer diagnosis before eventually getting back together. In the comics, they were even married for a period of time. Deadpool has an interesting relationship with other characters too. Blind Al is a significant character who he shared a house with, like in the movie. Al was a British government operative, with their first interaction occurring when Deadpool was hired to assassinate her, but they later created a mutual respect towards each other, albeit filled with dark humour. Weasel is another of Deadpool's friends to be brought over into the movies. Initially acting as Wade's tech guy and arms dealer, the two later went on to have a similar friendship shown in the films. Deadpool has teamed up with Colossus, Cable, Domino, and Wolverine many times in the comics. In X-Men Origins Wolverine, Wade Wilson is in a group of mutants called Team X. While Team X is in the comics, Deadpool has never been a part of that team. However, like in Deadpool 2, he was a part of the X-Force team, like in the comics. Some other comic teams he's been a part of include Thunderbolts, S.H.I.E.L.D., and Heroes for Hire. Despite having significant crossover from comic to movie with those previous characters, Deadpool's interactions with Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Fire Fist are limited to none. And I know this is a video talking about the character of Deadpool, but you might be interested to know that back when 20th Century Fox had the movie rights to some of the Marvel characters, one of those characters they owned was Ego the Living Planet due to his connection with the Fantastic Four. James Gunn found out about this when he was writing the script for Guardians of the Galaxy Volleyball 2, so a deal was made between 20th Century Fox and Marvel Studios that would allow Marvel to use Ego if Fox could change the powers of Negasonic Teenage Warhead in the Deadpool movie. In the movie, the character has energy blasts, while the powers in the comics are telepathy, telekinesis, and flight. Basically, the Deadpool movie only wanted the character for the cool name.
Negasonic Teenage... What the
Another significant character in Wade's life that hasn't yet appeared in the movies is Bob, agent of Hydra, who only worked for the criminal organization because his wife accused him of not being able to hold down a steady job. Because of his cowardliness, he's helped out Deadpool on numerous occasions, and the pair get along. Wade also has a daughter named Eleanor Camacho. During Deadpool's time with the Heroes for Hire, he hooked up with Carmelito Camacho, later finding out that this had led to a baby who she raised alone. Someone known as Butler wanted to use Wade in order to figure out a cure for his sister's cancer. Wade agreed to this for a period of time, but ultimately grew tired of the experiments and quit. Butler then kidnapped Carmelita and his daughter, Eleanor. Deadpool went searching for them before finding Carmelita dead. Ellie was presumed dead too, but was later found. However, Wade decided that the best way to protect Ellie from his dangerous lifestyle was to have her live with Emily Preston, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and friend of Wade. He does, however, continue to see her from time to time. As for the villains, I already mentioned that Deadpool had a number of battles with Francis in the comics, and that's the same for the Juggernaut too.
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
Let's talk about Deadpool's appearance. In the 2004 comic, Cable and Deadpool number 2, Wade Wilson described himself as looking like Ryan Reynolds crossed with Sharpay, a quote that was referenced in the first movie.
Yeah, like I got bit by a radioactive Sharpay.
Again, this was 2004, 5 years before we saw Ryan Reynolds play Deadpool for the first time. Deadpool is one of the very few characters that has unique speech bubbles in the comics. This is due to him having a distinct voice. Cable described it as a ridiculously hollow Demi Moore rumble, while Blind Al says it sounds like gravel and gasoline. I don't know about you, but I don't think this would be an accurate description for the movie version of the character.
I'd say that you sound like an infomercial.
Sometimes changes from comic to screen are necessary, particularly with costumes, but the Deadpool movie has one of the most comic book accurate costumes of any Marvel character.
Please don't make the super suit green. Or animated.
Along with the red and black suit, he's also known for carrying an assortment of weapons, most notably a pair of steel katanas and guns. Plus, there's been more than one occasion where we see the Merc with a Mouth ride a red scooter. According to the Marvel Wiki, Deadpool is 6'2", which is also the exact same height as Ryan Reynolds. Also like Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool is Canadian.
You're welcome, Canada.
On the whole, I think it's pretty fair to say that Ryan Reynolds is pretty much perfect casting in all aspects of the character of Wade Wilson in Deadpool from the comics.
Think Ryan Reynolds got this far on his superior acting method?
Deadpool is coming up on his 4th adventure in the movies, but some of his notable events in the comics include donning the Venom symbiote in Secret Wars before Spider-Man did. However, this was something that was added in the comics in 2015, 30 years after the Secret Wars comics. He tried to become a S.H.I.E.L.D. licensed bounty hunter during the Superhero Registration Act by finding Taskmaster, but they didn't hire him. He's teamed up with Peter Parker's Spider-Man, was kidnapped by the Skrulls in the Secret Invasion, and even seemingly killed every version of himself within the multiverse. Overall, I think it's fair to say that this version of Wade Wilson Deadpool is very similar to the character in the comics. You could also say the same for this version of Wade Wilson prior to him becoming Deadpool, then not so much.
Wait, is that you?
Obviously the character has been explored a lot more in the comics, but he's a pretty accurate representation put to screen. Hey, you want to hear some facts about Deadpool?
Yes!
Here are some fun facts about Deadpool. Deadpool's personal driver, Dopinder, is actually an original character for the Deadpool movies and was named after someone Ryan Reynolds knew in elementary school who died when hit by lightning.
You're my Tom Cruise.
And you're my Kristen Dunst.
The full body makeup in the Deadpool movies took 8 hours to apply. Once it was on, he couldn't sit or lie down.
Sit on a stick.
Co-creator of Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, had a cameo in the first Deadpool movie as a customer at the bar when Wade addresses 2 people.
Buck Liefeld.
Inspiration for the name Deadpool actually came from the 1988 Dirty Harry movie titled The Deadpool.
Captain Deadpool.
Rob Liefeld has stated that the inspiration for the character came from Spider-Man, Wolverine, Boba Fett, and even the movie Twins, relating Arnold Schwarzenegger's character to be similar to Wolverine, and Deadpool being the Danny DeVito character, as they're all various stages of experiments.
When I'm finished, parts will have to grow back here.
Good one.
The musical score played as Deadpool is dying in Deadpool 2 is the same piece of music played when Wolverine dies in Logan.
Oh, it's so hard to go.
According to Elektra, Deadpool has lovely handwriting.
Stay in school, kid. Or don't. I didn't. I'm an X-Man.
Deadpool claims that he's seen every Jackie Chan movie and high karate commercial ever made. He's also a fan of the classic Star Trek show, not the one with the bald guy that looks like Professor X, and also loves the original Star Wars trilogy, but will literally kill anyone who says anything positive about the prequels. Wade is also not a fan of anime. And finally, Wade Wilson has a very Marvel name, like Peter Parker, Sue Storm, and of course, J. Jonah, Jimmy, Jason, Jason, Jordan, Jasmine, Julian, Josephine, Jessica Jameson, a Junior.
Cool name.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to obliterate that like, subscribe, and share button. I'm just kidding. Only do it with enough force that it registers. I don't want you fourth wall breaking whatever device you're watching this on. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Deadpool movie or comic arc is.